and the ones behind there, them's lots. If you go from Cornell, West Point there, 150 feet in is house lots. And you've got 100 and some off of Telegraph, it's commercial. So what's these people gonna do? We'll be in around on Earth Street, go in there like you did the oil change place, run up down through our, tear the bank up, then we gotta fix it back. It's kinda pretty quiet, the way we got it. You go over and look where we live at, and we keep it up pretty good. Bill, Ken, all of us.
They would not have an
They
access.
would not have an access to the residential street.
Well,
It would
if
be
he's talking,
emergency access.
spend the money, if he's gonna do it, put a wall up. Where we don't have to see them and the traffic coming in all hours of the night, shining in their bedroom windows.
So that could be something that's discussed that when they bring a plan through.
Well, that'd be the first thing on the list.
They do have to provide a buffer.
Yes.
Either it's a vegetative buffer or it's a cinder block wall.
A lot of
That'd be
residents.
good, so we don't have to look at the trash cans
Right.
and the people coming in at 4 o'clock in the morning and dumping those cans and waking you up with the big diesel front lift truck, so empty the can.
Right. Sir, our ordinance does require a wall. Planning Commission can waive that requirement if they feel the plan shows something better than a wall. A lot of residents don't want a straight 6-foot concrete wall abutting their backyard. Graffiti, things get stolen and they hop over the wall. I mean, there's a lot of issues with that.
It would be in the
So
front of
lately,
the
we've had a
wall.
lot of residents come to the planning commission meeting to ask for landscaping or evergreen trees or a nice berm. That's where they mound the dirt up and put plantings on top of it, and to set farther back, instead of building all the way out and putting up a wall. But that's usually discussed during the planning commission meeting.
Through the chair to the audience, that if this gets rezoned and if there is a proposal, we really hope to hear that you're here during that process, because as a planning commission, we really want to hear what the residents want on what type of a buffer. Some want to see, landscape with a berm and maybe some trees, and others will want a wall. But it's important that we hear from you, especially those that are immediately buffered to it, and that'll help us to, as a site plan, and that's a little ways off. We go from here to the council, then the site plan comes back from the petition, but we really want to be responsive to what works best for you that are next door there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Stewart? Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, could I just address that concern real quickly? Obviously, we understand that concern, and we have done this many times, and like Ms. Stahl said, a lot of times what we found is that when you put up a wall, it becomes ugly, and it's just very blank. It doesn't get broken up. It's just not really appealing, so it detracts from a residential area. So what we've tried to do in the past is buffer it with landscaping so that it looks more natural, like a yard, if you will. Now, there are obviously some challenges with that, because if you have trash that you allow to blow, if you have landscaping, it can blow into the residential area, versus a wall, it keeps it in the commercial property. So we get that. So we've tried to, be a good neighbor and make it look more like a yard, as opposed to on your side of the fence or a wall, it looks like an ugly wall. And we've had residents say, boy, I wish there was something different. So we get that concern, and we want to hear from you. And like they said, when we get to that point, we'll work together on that. We're not averse to either way, but we want to be a good neighbor. We want to have a building and a property that looks nice. And we've just found that in the past, the walls they just tend to get ugly over time, especially.
Put the dirt up and trees on top of it.
Right, and I think what they're suggesting and talking about is, instead of just a flat lot to the back of the property, it would be built up with some kind of berm and then landscaping on top of that. But again, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves at this point, but my point to you is we're open to those discussions, and we get it. We want to be a good neighbor. So,
Thank
you're welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have,
Your name and address?
my name's Ken Davis. I live at, West Point, 111 41 West Point, right across the street from the 4 lots that we're talking about. And I have some concerns as if it gets rezoned, it is now open for whatever wants to go in there. They decide to bail on their project for whatever reason, financial, whatever. They decide to bail on it. Now it's already been rezoned, anything can go in there with approval by council and whatnot. But that whole plan of the berm and the wall and that wall could be right along the sidewalk, right across the street, and that I have an issue with. They could change their mind as far as parking goes. They could run parking all the way out there. Like they did down here at the party store, at Pardee. Threw that parking lot in behind it. Things change, I understand that. Plans change. These drawings here will probably be changed a dozen times before the final approvals go in. My concern is what happens if this doesn't go through, or, oh, we changed our mind.
It would be rezoned to B2. Any of the uses in the zoning ordinance, there's a chart in the back of the zoning ordinance, so if you go to the B2, anything with a P would be permitted. Okay, any kind of construction going on that property has to come through the planning commission. Any new development going on there has to go through the planning commission. You're right in a way, not any use can go there. It has to be a use listed in the B2 zoning. But once again, if they build anything, it has to come through planning commission again. If it was to stay residential right now, they could come in there and split it up and build single-family homes with driveways out onto West Point. You know, it just depends. But it is master plan for commercial to kind of be consistent and match up with what's already along Telegraph Road. As you know, the oil change, he went ahead and put his parking lot, you know, all with, this is not gonna go out as far as that, as far as this preliminary.
And again, there was some things down there that you guys aren't quite sure how it happened.
That's why when this gentleman here, you know, the vacation, we did the whole thing, because for some reason, years ago, that alley was still going across the oil change parking lot. So
So
we're trying to correct that with this new alley vacation.
So where his parking lot is, that's B2?
No, there's a public alley going through there.
No, I know, but where his parking is, at the oil change place, that's
Yes,
zone B2,
yes.
and the front half is B3.
I believe so. I would have to double check on the map, but I know they're both zone commercial.
So if this project were to fall through, and that being zone B2, they could actually put another building in the back there that would fall within line with the B2?
One lot, one use. When this goes through planning commission, which not everybody sees, but I write a letter and there are conditions to their approval. And one of my recommendations, anytime there's several lots together, they have to consolidate them into one lot. And then the reason being, we do have an ordinance that states one lot, one use. Unless they have come through planning commission ahead of time and asked us to do a multi-tenant strip or something like that, it's usually one lot, one use.
Okay, so this is the proposed, I know we're not on that plan right now, but that, right now it's looking at a proposal